Video games have been one of life's greatest treasures, able to be on the same level as other forms of media and evoking emotions of happiness, sadness, and frustration, and it's just been on a massive ascension as far as critical and commercial successes. Halfway into this decade, we have seen some incredible products released like Cyberpunk 2077, Elden Ring, God of War Ragnarok, Alan Wake 2, and Star Wars Jedi Survivor. We've also seen plenty of games that, let's just say, don't meet lofty expectations. Starfield, Saints Row 2022, Lord of the Rings Goblin. But with most games this decade, we have seen a lot of creativity in this space, allowing developers to have the freedom to make what they want, unless you're owned by Microsoft, in which case count your fucking days, because whatever you're working on is never going to see the light of day. And launching with relatively good results. Indie games are a shining example of something that a smaller studio can do within the space that they have to work in. Some of these games have astonishing levels of polish and love put into them. I mean, overall, video games are in a terrific spot and there isn't much to change at this moment in time. But what if there were a couple things to change? What if there were 3 things to change? What if there were even 4 things to change? Oversaturation is a term that I don't use often. I'm typically of the opinion that if something is so great, why wouldn't I want more of it? And that's an opinion I think that most of us share in this world. Oversaturation happens without even realizing it's happening. One minute I'm eating a slice of Costco cheesecake at 10 in the morning, and by 6 p.m. in the evening, I'm wondering why I'm sick of cheesecake only after indulging in more than half of the cake by myself. This is exactly the same situation that's going on in gaming at this moment. I don't even think we realize it fully. There are 3 games and 1 trend that are leading to an exhausted video game market, and I want to take a minute of your time to elaborate on this Costco cheesecake that I'm getting tired of eating every single time a game releases. Although I'm sure some of you already have a clear idea in your head of what I feel is oversaturated in this gaming climate. And if you agree with any of these, you are legally obligated to subscribe to my channel and like the video. I don't make the rules, you just gotta do me a solid as I try to grind to 1,000 subscribers this year. So to start this off with our first genre, which I think is also the one that's slowly going away, it's gotta be the Battle Royale. Thank the good Lord above. For those of you that don't know, which I don't know how you could not know, the Battle Royale is a game where you and a bunch of other contestants are dropped onto a map with the sole goal of being the last one standing at the end of the match. You're dropped on the said map with nothing but your pants and maybe a starting weapon, but after that it's up to you to scavenge the battleground, looking for anything and everything that will aid you in your objective of becoming the one on top. There are also team-based matches that players can participate in, but the goal remains the same no matter what. This genre was first introduced to the world through mods like Minecraft and DayZ, but the first dedicated game built for the genre that popularized it is PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, or better known as PUBG. This game was never truly my thing, as the gameplay always felt stiff and the game looks like pixelated trash, but the demand was there for more of this as it exploded onto the scene, making a ton of noise. And seeing that demand, many other developers decided to try and get a piece of this pie. Picture this. You log off of Fortnite one night on September 25th, 2017 after playing some good old Save the World with the homies talking about how you're enjoying the game's tower defense mechanics. No one has ever said this, by the way. And the next morning you're greeted with an update that would change the landscape of gaming, and you didn't even realize it was going to happen at that moment. That's right, because on September 26, 2017, Epic Games would submerge themselves in the Battle Royale mode, and the Fortnite that we knew then would never be the same ever again. The one that dropped in July 2017 that fell flat on its face almost instantly became one of the few clones to come out after the PUBG that found stability in its player base and is now thriving, making a gajillion dollars yearly, and now launching dozens of collabs within the game and becoming more than just a battle royale. And while many games have tried to get on the level of Fortnite's success, they have ultimately all failed, or at the very least not come anywhere near its popularity. Apex Legends, H1Z1, Naraka Blade Point, Fall Guys, The Calling, that one's ass, Hyperscape, rest in peace. Even big name games like Battlefield 5, Firestorm, and Call of Duty Warzone, they are all not on the same level as Fortnite. They keep trying, but they cannot compete with the monstrous level of player count that Fortnite has. But the problem here with this genre is that the formula is the same no matter what game you play. There are no alternate ways to play the game. You drop, loot, shoot, and keep winning your fights until you become the last one standing, or you get sent back to the lobby and try again. That's usually my case. And if you're with a team of randoms, you're almost immediately getting sent a message saying that you should never play the game ever again, and that you'll never amount to nothing. Well, the joke's on you, Buster. I make shitty YouTube videos, so I know that already. And to me, this shit gets boring after a while. Apex is the only one that kept my attention because there was a progression of using a different character with different abilities. Speaking of different characters with different abilities, Overwatch, baby! The game that is famously known for beating Uncharted 4 and Inside for the Game of the Year back in 2016, and also known for having one of the most unnecessary sequels and failing to deliver on any of that sequel's promises.
For its 2016 is Overwatch.
Time to discuss hero shooters, and the game that I used to love immensely. And I truthfully cannot tell you why gamers love this genre as much as we do. Maybe it has something to do with being able to main a character and getting progressively better with that character, or single-handedly becoming a carrying machine that your team relies on. Only enhanced by playing in ranked where people can either call you a god and worship you for carrying them one round, just for them to almost immediately switch up on you when you aren't getting 15 eliminations in the first 3 minutes of the next round. My leading theory on why people love this genre is that the characters are so unique and everyone has a favorite that resonates with them and all their skins and personalities and or lore. This is where the women with 400 hours on Mercy come in, or the wannabe Wraith mains in Apex trying to be the next Fade, only to get clapped when they find out they are not the movement gods they thought they were. I personally enjoy this style of shooter because I can find a character that works best for my playstyle, and that is usually the tank role, charging headfirst into battle with my team supporting me. There isn't anything quite like it. And there are plenty of types of hero shooters. You have the objective-based ones like Overwatch and Marvel Rivals, and you have the attack and defend-based ones like Valorant, Rainbow Six Siege, and Fragpunk. And again, even Battlefield 2042 and Call of Duty Black Ops 4 tried to do this, and it didn't work out all that well really. But besides those two, most of these games have managed to maintain a level of player bases that keep them afloat. Unless you're Overwatch 2. In which case, the community was tricked into buying the game again with the promise of a PvE experience that was going to primarily be the only thing that was going to separate the sequel from the original. Only for Blizzard to back out shortly after that, and now they wonder why people are swapping out their Diva cosplays for Emma Frost and Luna Snow. Or if you're Concord, who didn't even get a chance to live, laugh, love before Sony took it out back and gave them the old Yeller treatment all within a couple of weeks. But I got another one for you to uncover. Bleeding Edge. Yeah, that one is almost Concord levels of failure. That's one thing you have to have in order to be a successful hero shooter: personality. But the problem with this genre now is that all the characters are starting to become alternate versions of the same character. Here, watch this. Pathfinder from Apex Legends is Chum from Fragpunk in character design, but in ability design, Chum is also Gecko from Valorant. Where's the originality? Nitro from Fragpunk is just Rampart from Apex. Axon? Brother, that's just we have Octane at home. Let's look at Marvel Rivals and Overwatch. Magneto is basically a Zarya clone, Spider-Man has Reaper's ult, Doctor Strange is Reinhardt with a magical shield, and Black Widow is pretty much spot on to Widowmaker. There isn't an inherent problem with this, it's just that there isn't a huge reason to move on from one game to another, as the characters will feel familiar after swapping. There's only so many different ideas that can be introduced before people run out. Speaking of different ideas being introduced before people run out, my favorite genre recently is the Souls-like, because it seems like no matter how many games come out that have this dark fantasy aesthetic, they seem to never run out of creative weapons, enemies, and of course, bosses. I can't think of a game in this field that has one boss that looks like another off the top of my head. One minute I'm facing off against a dragon with a mouth where its chest should be, and the next I'm fighting for my life against a wolf with a sword and a grudge. A Souls-like is a game that is very similar in structure to FromSoft's Soulsborne game. This would include their Dark Souls franchise, Bloodborne, Sekiro to an extent, and of course, Elden Ring. These titles are known for being harder than your average game, and people love the challenge, or watching people fail miserably for 3 hours on one boss. Looking at you, Kaisenat. So when Souls-like started to make their appearance, it was kind of rough in the beginning. The first game that felt like a true Souls-like in my opinion was Lords of the Fallen, a 2014 release. Yes, this game was mid with a capital M, and set an expectation that no one can do this style of game as well as From Software. But lo and behold, along came titles like Liza P, Neo, Remnant 2, and First Berserker Kazan to show other studios how to make a game that can compete with the best the genre has to offer. But lately, there might be a thing where the world might be getting too many games in this area. Just this year alone, we got 4 Souls-likes with Kazan, Wushang, AI Limit, and Elden Ring Night Rain, if you call that a Souls game. And we're just now heading to the final 3 months of the year. And that's not including Hollow Knight Silksong if it releases this year, or the Liza P Overture DLC that dropped during the summer. But the thing about this genre is that the games don't seem to be getting worse. If anything, they're getting better. It seems as if developers have figured out what makes a great product with this style of game, because before 2017, the games trying to do this were nowhere near the quality of a FromSoft franchise, and since then, they've taken everything other studios have done and iterated on them. We've got the classic dark fantasy Souls-like, and that has since expanded to sci-fi with The Surge, third-person shooters of Remnant, Chinese mythology of Wushang and Wolong, 2D games like Hollow Knight and Nine Souls, and even a Souls-like with you playing as a crab in the ocean. The possibilities are endless, but I can see this getting stagnant with the frequency that these games are dropping. I say keep bringing them because I'll eventually keep playing them. None of these are really bad for the gaming industry as a whole. I can't really think of a... Do you smell that? Something smells awful when you're like... Is that... Oh! Yes, it is now time to talk about the trend that has been infecting the hobby known as gaming for years now. I'm of course talking about live service games, and more specifically, microtransactions. This shit is ass, and ass comes in many shapes and sizes. Battle passes, loot boxes, and premium currencies all plague our video games like a gray hair that keeps growing back no matter how many times you pluck it. I would know because I just plucked some from my beard not too long ago, and that shit sucks. Don't get old. Now allow me to break it down for you on what each microtransaction is just so you can see the bigger picture. The Battle Pass is probably the least offensive model that developers can choose to implement into their game. It's basically a set of unlocks that you pay premium for, usually $10, and that lets you earn experience to progress through the pass and unlock various items. These items include cool stuff like skins or weapons or characters, but also include things that you might find at the bottom of a dumpster like stickers. What is every developer's obsession with fucking stickers? I could put a sticker or a charm on my weapon and practically never pay attention to it, and my opponents will never see it unless they pick up my weapon for themselves. I only want skins so I can get killed in style. Loot boxes are to kids what slot machines are to adults. A huge waste of money. A huge waste of money that only leads to a brief moment of happiness, only to be followed by a depression when you lose more money attempting to get what you want. But remember, 99% of gamblers quit before they make it big. Please do not take that advice. It was a joke. And the thing that connects both loot boxes and battle passes together is the premium currency needed to purchase those wastes of money. Yes, you must input your credit card information in order to buy fake money with real money so that you can get Naruto to hit the gritty in Fortnite. And the worst part about these premium currencies is that they'll usually give you various options that'll let you get a skin or a bundle that you want, but leave you with just under the amount you would need to buy something else. So then you're forced to spend another $5 or so to get the most out of your previous currency purchase. Highway robbery, man. To this day, I don't think there's a worse thing to happen to gaming, and that's saying something when companies like Microsoft are out here shutting down studios left and right. Get this trash out of gaming, please, and thank you. But yeah, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much the end of it. Just want to come on here and share my thoughts with you about the state of gaming briefly. And what do you think? Am I speaking facts here or am I lying through my teeth? Let me know down in the comments where we can have a conversation. And again, thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, as that really does help me out a ton. Have a great morning, evening, afternoon, whatever time of day it is for you. I really appreciate you guys swinging by here. Please stay safe. Much love. Don't get lost in the sauce. And I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Peace.